Today we're taking a look at ASX listed stock Critical Resources Limited. Their ticker on the ASX is CRR. We're going to be providing a fundamental overview of the operations of CRR, as well as providing some technical analysis in order to make some predictions on where we can expect to see critical resources go in the near future. Let's take a look. I've partnered with Crypto.com to provide my viewers with an awesome opportunity to accelerate their crypto journey. Crypto.com is used by over 50 million users in 90 countries across the globe and is a leading platform for buying, selling and staking crypto. They also offer metal Visa cards with a huge range of rewards that allow you to convert and withdraw your crypto in fiat currency. Crypto.com is offering a $25 sign up reward using my affiliate link in the description or by entering affiliate code RyanProven. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another ASX stock analysis video. As I mentioned, we're taking a look at a company known as Critical Resources. They are an Australian company, but they have tenements across the world. Primarily at this point in time, their focus is on their lithium project, which is based in Ontario, Canada. But they also have a couple of other projects, one in Oman, which is a copper project, and another in Australia, which is focusing more on the base metals side of things. So they do have a suite of various different projects, which we can take a brief look at today. But the focus here is the lithium side of things, of course. And as we've all seen, the lithium price right now is going absolutely crazy. So these lithium exploration companies, when they get big drill hits and prove up resources, which CRR, as you will certainly see, does hit those big numbers. You'll see these companies, if they manage to move through the due diligence and the processes, they will grow very, very quickly from a share price perspective. But without any further ado, let's take a look at the fundamental side of Critical Resources. Firstly, let's take a look at the financial side of things. So from a valuation point of view, right now Critical Resources is worth roughly about 80 million Australian dollars and their share price is hovering around that 5.8 cent mark. Now, when we look at the cash on hand of this company, they have about $5.53 million as of the 30th of September 2022. And the amount of cash they're burning right now on exploration is $3 million as of the last quarter, so that period of time, which goes to show, I suppose, this is probably a company that will require some sort of a capital raising if they continue to spend that type of expenditure. But of course, with these companies, it is all for good reason, and that is to prove up the viability of their projects. The key project they are spending these funds on is their Mavis Lake Lithium Project, and this is the one which is based in Ontario, Canada. Now, so far, they have drilled 22,000 meters to date. Roughly 13,000 meters has been completed so far of the current 17,000 meter drill program as well. But the results they are seeing are absolutely incredible. Recent assays just returned the highest grade of lithium result that they've ever achieved, and that was at 4.32% lithium oxide. So you can see that is an absolutely huge value, and why there's a lot of eyes on this particular company. Metallurgical test work is currently underway, and they're also working towards a mineral resource estimate, which is of course JORC compliant, sometime in the near future. That is obviously going to be as a result of that drilling, finishing up and proving up the resource itself. Based on the sort of results we're starting to see, this looks like it could be quite significant. Let's dive a little deeper into the Mavis Lake results. I want to give you an idea of the amount of news flow we're starting to see, as well as the sort of results this drilling is showing. So, of course, I want to kick it off with their 13th of September announcement, which has that 4.32% lithium oxide grade in. Now, this was from 91 meters down, and of course, it was only small, as you would expect, being 1 meters. But This was contained within 8.15 meters at roughly 1.7%, and another on that same hole being 24.1 meters at 1.62%. Now we're seeing similar sort of results as these assays continue to come back. So in a separate hole, they had 23.9 meters at 1.55% and grades up to 3.09% lithium oxide in those holes. Now, as we start to move along, you can see that on the 24th of October as well, they started to receive more drilling results, which were also very, very big. You know, you're getting 18.45 meters at 2.06%. You're getting 3 meters at 2.92%, and then even moving on to some more results, which was extension drilling on the 31st of October. You're going down to depths of 131, 152, 161 meters, for instance, and you are still hitting those high grades. An example being 1 meter at 3.57% at 161.3 meters. To wrap up the lithium side of things, their Mavis Lake project has immediate access, of course, to road and rail infrastructure, hydropower, as well as a local workforce, and of course a supply port which is located in the town of Dryden. This is all because of the location of the project being in Ontario. Very, very convenient, and it makes those costs that you typically see in moving material to locations and getting equipment to site and all that sort of stuff significantly cheaper due to this. Of course, as well, just to touch on it, I won't go into detail, but Critical Resources also holds a portfolio of prospective hard rock lithium projects as well in Ontario, Canada. So they've got their Graphic Lake project as well as their Plaid and White Loon Lake project as well. I just want to mention as well the two other key projects that they have going on across the globe. Of course, the focus is on the Mavis Lake project, but they do have these on the side as well. The first being, of course, their base metals project, which is based in New South Wales. They're commencing a drilling program of 6,400 meters, and they are targeting large-scale SEDEX type deposits. And finally as well, their Oman copper project. Right now they do have a JORC resource which is measured, indicated and inferred of 0.8 million tonnes at 3.4% copper, which is pretty good, including a high grade zone as well, which is sitting at 0.5 million tonnes at 4.5% copper. Now this one is also one of those locations which has roads, towns and infrastructure near it, making it extremely viable and a low cost opportunity. That wraps up the fundamental overview of Critical Resources. Now what we're going to do is move on to the technical analysis side of things. So without further ado, let's jump into the chart. Welcome into the Critical Resources chart, guys. As you can see, we're currently sitting at that 5.8 cent value as of today, which is the 9th of November 2022. Now, first things off the bat, I want to look at the overall trend. You can see realistically, we've hit some pretty big numbers in relation to where we are now. 14 cents, which is more than double the current value. And we're coming back down to some historical prices. But from a, I suppose, more long-term view, let's take a look at what pattern is playing out. First and foremost, let's chuck in our top end resistance line. And you can see this one is very, very prominent. The reason being, you can see multiple touch points across that. And then if we move in from the bottom side of things, let's take a quick look at this. Let's see where that ends us up, and as you can see, once again, we are seeing similar sort of effects take place. What this is showing is we are coming to a point, bouncing up and down off those key points of support and resistance. Ultimately, a breakout will certainly occur. From a fundamental perspective, rather than a technical, based on continuous good news, I'd imagine that would likely be in an upwards direction as we get closer to the tip of this overall trend. From a horizontal perspective, if we want to look at key points of support and resistance, I'd suggest that right here you can see a key point of support for us at roughly 5.4 cents as well in a horizontal direction. Now let's take a look, of course, a bit deeper, a bit closer at exactly what's going on now. So first thing I'm noticing as we zoom in is the fact that we have just had the cross of the 20-day moving average below the 50-day, indicating, you know, a short-term downtrend. It crossed back below, unfortunately, that 200-day a few weeks ago as well. But that's to be expected, of course, as we did come down, of course, overall in value significantly back to that support point. But unfortunately for us, it's now acting as a resistance point, and we have had a test today to try and break through that, which was unsuccessful. Basically, that 6 cent / 6.1 cent mark is the key to break through, and then test, of course, once again, our 200-day moving average, currently sitting at 6.9 cents. I did also notice we do have a bit of a gap which is formed just back here in September. Now, the bottom end of this gap is sitting at 5.1 cents. We haven't hit that value as of yet. The lowest we've gone is just over here, which is the 5.3 cent mark. But pending some good news, I don't think the gap will close. And of course, if the key point of support holds up as well horizontally, it won't close. But I'd say if everything was left and there was no news flow that was positive, or we do get negative news flow, we're going to see that gap close before the next movement upwards. Although it looks like we're already on the move at this point in time. So let's have a look at a few other things. Volume, crazy on those big days. Obviously announcements released there. Calmed down significantly. In fact, this is more consolidation on that overall volume as well, indicating a breakout is due soon. Let's have a look at our breakout indicator, the Bollinger Bands. Bring that one in. You can see they're getting relatively tight once again after that big break. You know, plenty of more room for them to get closer and closer together. As they get closer over the coming weeks, that's when we can expect to see that break occur. If we do see some movement sideways, a bit like that, then these will tighten a lot quicker than if we're moving up and down in a more volatile manner. So let's see what happens on that front. Let's remove it, and then let's take a look at the RSI. Now the RSI, as you can imagine, of course, went crazy over here, overbought significantly when all that volume came in. It's now dropped all the way back down, and we're currently sitting at a value of 46.87. So if we are going to bounce off this horizontal support line, we have plenty of room for that momentum to build up and take us past the key target points. Finally, let's have a look at the MACD. Now the MACD is showing we are about to see another cross of the 12-day EMA above the 26-day EMA. This could be the catalyst for us breaking back above our 20 and 50-day moving averages to go and test that 200 and possibly as well the top end of our chart here. Now, based on everything I've seen today, here are my price predictions for this. I'm expecting to see the 20 and the 50-day breached in the very short-term future, and I'm definitely expecting the 200-day to be tested after that point. If we hit the top end, I'm not too sure. It really all depends if we have momentum coming through, and of course the fundamental factors which are out of the control of the chartists if we start moving upwards. Worst case scenario, I think at the moment, absolute worst case scenario is the gap closes. And the gap right now, of course, as I mentioned, sitting at 5.1 cents. That, I'd say, is our worst case scenario. But the more likely scenario based on the MACD, based on the room from the RSI, based on the Bollinger Bands starting to get a bit closer, based on the volume dropping, indicating breakouts are going to occur, I would expect we are going to move in an upwards direction up towards that 200-day moving average and hopefully past that point. That wraps up today's analysis of critical resources, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. Of course, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. I'll leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.